Do you believe that Christianity was brought in Africa by outsiders?
Africans already knew about God. Africans already, it might not be in the context of the Christianity, like the exact context, but they already knew about Christianity, well, before the outsiders came with it.
Do you think there are still Jews here in Africa?
Of course, there are African Jews. I don't want to talk about the ones from Ethiopia who are facing discrimination because of the color of their skin. But yes, African Jews are real.
Why do a lot of people they think and believe that Christianity was brought in Africa by other people?
Well, I think that is because they have been brainwashed to believe that way. All right, there have been some of our people here in the motherland have been brainwashed to believe that no, it was the white man that came with this idea of Christianity, that their ancestors were worshiping, was it idols, and so it was all thanks to them, or it was all thanks to the savior in quotes that came with this idea. But it is all total false. Hello, family. You're welcome to today's episode of the African People's Business Podcast show. And today I am not alone. I am with your sister. Can you tell them your name, sister?
Princess Bella, your black sister.
Right, Princess Bella. And she's going to be your host for today because she is also having some questions to ask me. And so you can go ahead with your questions,
There's
sister.
this phrase which says when Europeans came to Africa, Africa had a land. Why they had the Bible? After they left Africa, Africans had the Bible. Why they had the land?
I think,
What do you think about this? Like, how true is it?
okay, are you aware that Ethiopia was never colonized?
Oh, yes.
You are aware, right?
Yes.
And are you also aware that the oldest Bible in the world today is found in Ethiopia?
Correct.
And are you also aware that in Ethiopia's calendar, they are still in 2017?
How come? Like, can you give more
In
details?
Ethiopian calendar, they are still in 2017. The G's calendar, Ethiopians, they don't follow the calendar that the world is following. They have their own calendar, which is derived from ancient Egypt. Are you aware of that? So now, according to that statement which you just asked me, which states that when the Europeans came to Africa, Africa had the land, why they had the Bible. So when they were leaving Africa, Africa had the Bible. It just states that it was the Europeans that brought Christianity to Africa. But if that is the case, then how come Ethiopia that was not colonized is in possessions of the oldest Bible in the world?
How come? Wait, just give me, let me check because I
Yeah,
love proof.
yes, just do a quick search and you are going to see what I'm talking about here. This is what so many of our people don't want to do search on. They don't want to do research on their African origin, on their African history. That is why you see some of our people stay brainwashed and they just believe that these outsiders they were the one that did everything for Africa, and Africa was literally nothing without them. So
Well, I am just from searching. I am seeing here. Let me just read it aloud so we all can hear. The Ethiopian Bible is the oldest, most complete and original Bible on earth.
yes,
Wow.
it is having that most complete. It is having around eight, is it 80 books?
Wow. But I thought it
It
was just 66 book, like our normal
Yeah,
Bible.
the original Bible is having 66, both the New Testament, both the Old Testament and the New Testament. But the Ethiopian canon contains both the 66 books and 20 something other books in it, which is regarded including the book of Enoch. Are you aware of the book of Enoch that talks about the watchers, the angels that came to earth after their rebellion? So there is so much. So my question now is, if Ethiopia, if according to that statement that says the European came to Africa, they had the Bible, how is it that Ethiopia is in possession of this very, very important thing that has to do with the same Christianity that they are saying that Africans never knew until when they came to Africa?
Well, I just I've done another research again, and I am seeing a lot of things that I would like to share.
Okay, that would be
Well,
good.
I am seeing here the Karima Gospel are a set of three ancient Ethiopic manuscripts that are considered to be some of the oldest surviving Christian manuscript.
Exactly.
The earliest of the three, Garama 2, is believed to be the oldest complete illuminated Christian manuscript. So, like, can you give us more details on this,
Well, it
because
is.
it's really confusing.
It's not. It is still the same thing that they just told you, that the Ethiopian, they have the oldest Bible and the most complete version of the Bible. Now, the reason why the other books were moved out from the Holy Bible, now that we are left with the 66 book, it is because they wanted to focus more on the salvation of Christ, which is very, very important. That is what humanity needs. All right.
Wow.
So that statement which says the European came to Africa had the land, to an extent, I don't think that statement is really, really correct, because anybody that believes in that statement, it means that that person believes that it was the Europeans that gave African Christianity, which I don't think that that is the case.
Well, but in Africa, not only in Africa, many people they already know that it was brought by outsiders.
That is why I said it is because they are brainwashed.
Okay,
You
so
understand? Yeah.
if I'm not getting it wrong, you are like just trying to make us understand that Africans we knew the Bible before them coming.
Of course, it's not about me saying it. You have seen
Well,
the
I can see the proof. I have
evidence.
seen the proof.
Ethiopia,
Yes.
you understand? And the Bible talks about a disciple of Christ that met an Ethiopian eunuch. That he was the Ethiopian eunuch was reading the book of, is it Isaiah? So it is it the white man that, so Ethiopia, Africa already knew about the Bible. Well, I will not really say, maybe it is not in the context of like maybe the name that African knew were Christians. We are Christians. No, because even in the ancient times when Christ was here on earth, Christ never mentioned Christian. All
Mm-hmm.
right, like you hear some preachers saying that God is not a Christian. God never said that he's a Christian. It is people that are following him. If you believe in him,
Mm-hmm.
you will go to heaven. So I think Christianity is a religion. All
Wow.
right. And religion, that is why we have so many religions in the world today, because religion is man-made effort to connect with the divine.
Wow, that's really amazing, Nelson.
Yeah, it is man-made effort to connect humanity in its fallen state. They were looking for a means. Whenever we humans see the mountain, the sky, nature, how things are just placed in order, of course you have it in the back of your mind that no, there must be a cosmic mind that created all these things.
Wow.
All right.
But
So
there's still a question I want to ask. You know, even like many people they say all what we see is not coming from God. Like the sky, they said it were some scientist people that like
who I say me, I don't
they
I
ca-
don't
they, they
believe
came up with that. Like even like I don't know.
I don't believe in
So
those things.
is
Like,
it that
are you
there's
talking about evolution, that they say the world was created through evolution?
exactly that is
God
what they
doesn't
told us that God
exist.
does not exist. So
That is trash. Yeah.
wow.
Because I'm saying this particular one. I used to believe in this stuff that they say God doesn't exist, but it was when I had an encounter with the spiritual realm that I realized that I was making a very big mistake.
Wow.
So it's not bad, even though some people might still not believe, but the choice is yours.
Yes, that's because they thought like they just believe that our ancestors were their God.
Well,
Yes.
yeah, yeah,
That is what it
but
was said in history, right? That God
yes,
do not exist. It was their ancestors that they were
no,
worshiping
no,
as
it
God.
was it was our ancestors were, they knew that there was a higher power. Listen, the fact that we Africans talk about our ancestors, it is not as if we are worshiping them. We
But
are just,
some people do worship.
well, which I would suggest that is not good, because our ancestors never told us to worship them. You never see, we are recognizing them as our ancestors. We are recognizing their deeds, and even in the Bible, you are going to find similar something. That's why I'm telling people that I believe the Bible is Black history, because you hear still in the Old Testament, you hear someone saying the God of my ancestors.
Mm-hmm.
You understand? And it is the same tradition that is found in Africa.
Yes.
So it's not as if we are worshiping our ancestors. And that is one of the tricks that the Europeans used when they came to Africa. Because they were like, your ancestors were worshiping idols, your ancestors were worshiping. is it wrong for someone to recognize the works of his or her ancestors? Is it wrong?
Well, it's not wrong.
Good.
But see, in fact, this history, this whole thing of history, really, it is really confusing. But when you do research, that is when you will know the truth. Because those same people, they said Africans were not human. Like they said something like that, that we were like animals. Like let's say like a baboon, like or like monkeys. That's how we,
That is
as time goes, that is how we're transforming into a human being. So I don't understand how true is that.
yeah. That is why I talked about evolution. That
Mm-hmm.
these people, they are saying that humans evolved, but for me that is all trash. I don't believe in those things because I've encountered the spiritual realm myself, so I know what I'm talking about. You
Wow.
understand? So it is something that I want to pass a message across to everybody that is of African origin. Our ancestors knew that there was life after death. They believed in life after death. So you might want to ask yourself that if our ancestors believe in life after death, then who created that life that is after death? That is
Well,
when you are going to start understanding that there must be
yes,
higher good. So
of course.
our ancestors never told us that we should worship them.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, they never, you never hear anywhere in our history or even in our fathers, our ancient fathers, that no, worship me when I am gone. No, that is a lie.
Wow.
Maybe I think this topic is going to be something that we'll talk about it. Maybe on our next podcast show
Of
for us to
course, we
emphasize
really need to
more
talk
on
about
this
this
topic.
because
But
it is too much. You know, there are some people that when they lost them, they have to keep their bones in the name they want to worship their forefathers. Like I don't get
no,
it.
that is not. I don't think that is well, that is not good. That is not good.
Well, well, Nelson, thank you so much. You have really you have exposed those hidden things that we wanted to hear. So now that you said African already knew about God before the European came,
Yeah.
so are you saying that there are African Jews?
Of course, the African Jews.
Like, give me more details. I want to know more.
They are African. Have you never heard about the Ethiopian Jews? And Ethiopia is just, I think Ethiopia is just one of the 12 tribes of Israel. There is still
Yes.
more African Jews scattered all over the African continent.
Wow.
Our brothers and sisters that were taken from here out of the motherland, they carry the DNA of a Jew. All right.
Wow.
I know some people might be, well, Nelson, that is false. That is, you can take example. You know, at first they were first of all saying that there was no black Jews, that Africa never had any Jews until they came and discovered that Ethiopia, that there were so many Jews in Ethiopia, which disprove what they were saying at the time. So this is just to show you that there are more hidden secrets, which it has started to reveal itself. Because even the Bible said that when the time is right, everything that is hidden will be revealed. Anything that is
Of
buried in the
course.
dark will be revealed. So
Wow.
yes, they are African Jews, black Jews.
Wow, Nelson, I can say you are really amazing. You have really said everything we
I
wanted to
think
hear.
my ancestors will be pretty proud.
Of course, they are really proud of you. You are really a brain box. Okay, I think this will be the end of today's podcast.
Okay, so family, if you're just tuning in, my name is Nelson, as you already know, and your host for today, her name is Princess Bella. And I want to let you all know that you can listen to this podcast. The audio podcast is available on Spotify, Apple Music, Amazon Music, and you can listen to it in any other podcast platform that you love to listen to this podcast on. So that is it. We are going to see you all on our next video/podcast.